next week. I think for scheduling purposes, it probably makes a lot of sense to try to look at Tuesday morning when we already have a 10 a.m. council meeting, rather than trying to add another meeting on y'all's calendars. So if there's consensus there, what we'll have Fernando do is poll your offices to see, could you do it at 9 or 9:30, or do we have to do it at 10 and push back the council meeting? We'll check with y'all on all those things. In order to do so, we need to make some updates or revisions to our original redistricting resolution. And we have to do a few things, which would be on the same agenda as the council meeting next week. One would be a revision to public meeting schedule. Currently, we had held a time on Monday. Based on today's conversation, it looks like we need to postpone that, have it on Thursday of next week, do it here at City Hall rather than in the remote location across the city, so that we can still allow for a call-in option. I know there's at least one council member who will likely be traveling, that they'll allow them to WebEx in for that meeting, so we have all the technology need. So that will also be noted in the resolution, as well as an update to how many days in advance we post a redistricting map session. Right now, it's 10 days, which was just our own shot in the dark, so we'll update that accordingly so that we can actually meet on Tuesday to do another map session. What did I miss, Leanne? You're no longer allowed to speak, apparently.
Is it your intent to have one public hearing or two?
Well, good question. So if we have the one on, why don't we give us some flexibility? How about that? So
You can require one in the resolution.
if we can give some flexibility for requirement of at least one, with some flexibility for council to decide after Thursday's public hearing whether or not we need to proceed with an additional hearing or not. I just felt strongly that the one we had last week was pretty effective. We had a lot of good call-in options. It seemed to flow well. I know I like the idea of traveling across the city, but it creates a few unknowns and sometimes is a hindrance to people that have enjoyed the opportunity to just call in for those hearings. Any other discussion around resolutions?
I can, but that's gonna take a little longer.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, we have a solution involving amendments to revised map V3
Okay.
that involves a total of 5 amendments, which Michelle will be able to illustrate on the screen. Some are the same amendments we discussed earlier today, and some are new. And we'd like to explain each one. The first one is moving Fossil Creek and the Fossil Creek Business District and Fairway Bend from the new District 11 to District 4. We discussed that earlier today. I think the council was good with that.
Okay.
Second, we're moving a portion of the Pauley neighborhood immediately south of the Texas Wesleyan campus from Rosedale on the north down to Avenue M, as in Mike, moving that area from the new District 8 to the new District 11. It's a small area just south of Texas Wesleyan. That is the second proposed revision. Third, and we discussed this earlier today, moving Old Handley, the portion of Handley west of Lupe 20, from District 5 to the new District 11. Fourth, moving the Chapel Creek neighborhood north of I-30 from District 3 to District 7. And in exchange for that revision, moving the Burton Hill neighborhood just north of Westover Hills from District 7 to District 3. Once you make these 5 changes to revised map V3, we meet the 10% population range requirement. And we meet the council's objective of creating 2 likely Hispanic minority opportunity districts. The new District 11 becomes 52.65% Hispanic voting age population. And District 2 becomes 62.05% Hispanic voting age population. So we meet both of the objectives that the council had set for maximizing Hispanic voting strength. We also have a District 9 with almost 45% Hispanic. That doesn't make it a Hispanic opportunity district, but it does provide a high degree of Hispanic voter strength. So, Madam Mayor, council members, staff presents the proposed solution to you for your consideration.
Fernando, there was one additional one that wasn't accounted for. In the previous version, District 7 continued north on University all the way to the river. And now instead, it comes back to one of the previous boundaries at, is that White Settlement? Yes. So White Settlement to University, this neighborhood moves from 7 to 9.
So the Bailey Triangle
Correct.
moves from 7 to 9.
For sake of argument, can we also compare map X to the new version? I think we had map X gave us 2 Hispanic districts.
Yes.
And what was the percentage on those compared to the percentage on this map?
We'd have to look at the handout that we gave you earlier today.
I'm sorry, I can help.
So the original version X had District
Simply
2
percentages.
at 68.4% Hispanic VAP. This version has
62%. So that percentage goes down, but it's still a strong Hispanic district.
Mm-hmm.
And then map X had a second strong Hispanic district, District 11, at rough 52.9, almost 53%. And now the new District 11 has 52.65, almost 53%. So you could say that the solution we've just discussed comes up with Hispanic voter strength roughly equivalent to that of map X.
The map X.
Yes.
Okay.
Accomplishes the same objective while also creating 3 likely African-American districts, being, well, 5 and 8 being, 5 in the new 11, or the new 8, I'm sorry, 5 in the new 8 being likely and 6 being a so-called toss-up.
I have a question. If we are able to agree on a map tonight, and that map is circulated, to the public by whatever means we deem appropriate, meeting here at City Hall, the input that we get from the public, will the public's input have a chance to influence this map that we're agreeing on tonight?
Yes. The purpose of the public hearing would be to receive comments on whatever map the council decides to disseminate for public review. And then you will have one more map drawing session in late March to fine tune the map in response to those comments that you receive. So yes, the purpose of the public hearing is to have an appreciable impact on your decisions.
And the other bit of information that I want to put on the table, and Fernando, I'm assuming it'll probably be with you, but I'd like to work offer my information or whatever to anyone who can communicate what we're doing here to our business corporate community, because this is major. And I think it's important and respectful that we communicate with those top employers, not just relying on the chamber as a source of information.
Sure.
And I'd be willing to work with legal on that.
Of course. And we'll want to cooperate with the three chambers, but not rely solely upon them. We'll be happy to do that.
Okay.
So just in this map, I would just want to conclude, because I know Kerry has a map that he wants to show, the other version. So in the initial comments earlier this morning, this version 3 is closer and similar to map X, as well as this version 3 gives the same opportunity as the first Hispanic district and the second Hispanic district percentage-wise as map X. This map also keeps community of interest together. And so with the recent changes of other districts as far as Chapel Creek, west of Linwood, and District 7, I would like to hear a commentary from them before we move to the next map, if that map works for that district or not.
Specific to Linwood?
To we made 5 changes since we break, and I just want to know if those changes work for the district or there's new changes we need to make.
Can you zoom, do you mind zooming out so we can get a?
So anybody that had impacted changes that are familiar with those areas, Fossil Creek, Polly, Hanley, Chapel Creek, Burton Hill,
And Bailey,
and what was the last one?
Bailey Triangle.
Bluebonnet.
That's what it looks like now in District 9.
From
To
5
11.
to
Can
new
you
11.
scroll into that western
11.
boundary right there? Scroll in. Well,
So yeah, it follows Berry around.
yeah. So on District 9, those changes are amenable to me.
Fernando, that is one additional change that we did not account for.
Another change, the 7th change, explain that again?
It takes Bluebonnet neighborhood from 3 to 9. Bluebonnet Hills, sorry,
Bluebonnet Hills from 3 to 9.
correct.
Yes. And then to piggyback on what Chris said, agnostic of maps, which one we choose, I think it's really important to note that the task force map X take aside the districts drawn that had Hispanic opportunity districts. One of the number one issues that we've all faced is the splitting of lots of communities of interest that we've all had to deal with, that we got abundant feedback in this last public hearing. And so I know how hard the task force worked to adopt that map, but we were gonna have to make significant changes to put those neighborhoods back intact, which I think we've done pretty well. And importantly, some of the other recommendations, such as Como, caused some significant pushing in other districts, and we've done that. So I think there's been some chatter in the community about why are you changing map X? Well, we really had to based on significant feedback from neighborhoods, whichever direction we end up going.
The task force itself recommended that you
Yes.
move Como into District 6.
Yeah.
And so that itself was
that
disruptive
created-
of map X.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
So I think it,
D2 here, I can't see what it's displayed, but I just want to check what I wrote down, 62.05 HVAP.
yes, yes.
And then District 9 was at 45.
44.59.
So I think for District 7, we're okay with Chapel Creek with that change, right? Because that's a community of interest. They're important to them to stay together. And then the other area, I think you mentioned, Fernando, affected was the Linwood.
No, Burton
Bailey
Hill.
Triangle.
Burton Hill
Burton Hill
will
will
be
be moving
fine.
from 7 to 3, and Bailey Triangle will be moving from 7 to 9.
That's fine. Both are fine.
Okay. Okay.
Carlos, did you get the numbers on the new district?
That's what I was just confirming.
No, the new district, you confirmed number 9. The new district was number 11.
Which is at 52.7 right now, correct?
No, I did not. Not for D11.
What's D11?
The 11 is 52.65% Hispanic voting age population.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
52.65.
The new District 11 is 52.65% Hispanic voting age population.
And I just want to
So
clarify.
it would be a likely Hispanic district.
So this is just one of the submission we're making. There's another submission coming, so, right? So we're
Yes.
anticipating that.
At this time, we have a solution based on version 3. We may have another solution, but this is a solution that works.
Okay. Any other comments or questions about this map? No? Okay. Do you want to pull up what you have for version 2.1,000,005? Yeah, it should be V2, revision 2?
Not yet. But I can create one before end of day.
Okay, great.
So if we want to start with numbers. District 2 is at 62.39. And the next highest is District 9 with 47.88. And District 8 with 44.43.
Repeat that.
District 8 has 44.43% Hispanic VAP, and District 9 has 47.88 Hispanic VAP.
Which bigger staff labeled that Hispanic strong in that text version 2, same census data was 33% African American, 42% Hispanic, and then 16% white. So most likely District 8 will be a Hispanic opportunity in this map.
I don't think that's, I don't know that
And
that's
I'll-
correct, Carrie, and because I think what we learned today was the terms likely or strong have no distinction.
And I agree that,
And what we
I think
heard-
the best thing to do is just have bigger staff review the 2 maps and just give us the summary like they did on the others.
Oh, I think so for sure, but I also, what we heard was over 50% is what we were looking for Hispanic Opportunity District, and neither one of these get to that. So I know you've had many conversations
Sure.
with your colleague, Councilman Flores.
In the package we had, in the package we got prior for today's meeting, they labeled District 8 Hispanic Opportunity, and it was under 50%.
I am aware of what they labeled it because I read the packet the same way you did. What I'm saying is that we collectively, through discussions, many, many hours, decided that 52% to get to where map X left us off, and that's 52%. Am I wrong? I don't want to speak for you, Carlos, or anyone else, but it was my understanding that we all sat here and we went through this exercise of painstakingly carving up Councilman Nettles and Councilwoman Bibbins' districts to create 52%, to get a real opportunity at Hispanic leadership in that district. And so I don't really care what bigger staff says on this one. None of them get to that 50%. So, I mean, we can send it off, but I'm going to tell you right now where I'm going to stand on this one.
Carrie, where's the new opportunity district? I think the colors are different, so I don't want to misquote.
The new
'Cause
opportunity district will be district, as far as, the new district will be District 11 and District 10.
The new,
And that's just where I want bigger staff to tell us what that will be.
but I'm saying what would be the new Hispanic Opportunity District?
Hispanic Opportunity will be 8,
Would be 8.
and maybe 9. Because the white population is less. We'll see.
If you zoom,
Ratios.
Yeah.
Ratios. Can you go back to 8 and 9? I want point out the white population, particularly in District 9, the district that I currently represent. Can you go down and give me the demographics on that? Nine,
So
yeah, so,
34.58% VAP white.
yeah. Yeah, that's a white district. I don't care how, you can paint it whatever color you want, but you're whitewashing it.
That's how
Okay.
Baker staff painted it in their analysis they gave us yesterday.
Okay, so, we talked about this earlier, and I hate putting Councilmember Flores on the spot, but the consensus I got before this is that we needed a little more time for him to work with the Hispanic community that he's hearing from heavily to make sure we understand which decisions we're making. We probably need to get that through Tuesday. If that's not the case, we can try to vote a map out tonight, but I don't think we get there based on the basic math around the table. So unless you feel differently, Carlos, then I think you've got your map. Elizabeth's been very clear on where her position is as she represents District 9 on her concern about that really not electing a Hispanic member of the community. Any other feedback?
I mean, if you zoom in, Mayor, if you don't mind, just right here, if you zoom into that where it goes into District 8, where I currently represent, what is that dividing line? Is that the railroad track? Because that is Morningside, South Side, and historical South Side completely taken out of District 8 that coincide with each other. And that is truly, to Michael's point earlier, they might not have labeled as a community interest, but that is truly a community interest that you completely took away from District 8. And for that, I couldn't support this map.
Well, in fairness, y'all have had
And
staff cornered and working to formalize y'all's map and clean it up, and we haven't had the opportunity with version 2. So
Well,
we're
let
asking
me
for that opportunity.
let me say that
Who is we and all? Who is we?
that is a complete misstatement.
It's not.
Sally has been working and I've been working. They sat at the same table, but she never really took the map that we had until very at the end. Melissa has been truly, I'm sorry, Michelle, I do that every time, has been out there working on that map the whole time. So, but
Understand,
Carrie,
but
this
she
map
she hasn't had the same opportunity to do that work for.
Can we go to the north
version 3.
side? Did you fix north side in this map? Can we go to north side? Because in the original map that you submitted, North Beverly Hills, you completely took out, which is 2,200 people, which is 76% Hispanic. You also took out the south
Because
corner
it's
of
in the
Jacksboro.
because it's in the Lake Worth ISD. That's
You
why.
also, we don't care about the Lakewood ISD no more. It's about
Maybe
Fort Worth.
maybe
You-
Leonard does.
Carrie, this is ridiculous.
No, it's not.
You took out,
We're just looking for the same time that you got to spend.
I
cleaning up
motion that
map.
we accept and we move forward with
Hey,
map.
No,
Yeah.
with
I
version
don't think
3.
that's right. You guys, I mean, you've had a good opportunity, and everyone worked through this today patiently to talk about what the options are. I think it's fair for Carrie to have the same opportunity to present and listen to what the feedback is and what may or may not work for people. And I don't think anyone was yelling about it earlier. Why are we yelling about it now?
Who's yelling?
You're yelling.
No, I'm not yelling. I said, Carrie, my mouth is into the mic. You talk a little like this. That's not mean I'm yelling. I can show you yelling. I'm not yelling, Leonard.
Okay.
But I'm just giving my opinion to the map.
I think the point is, if you want a motion to pass a map, absolutely you can do that. We can do that now and see where it goes. Otherwise, I think we have a game plan to try to get us to consensus on Tuesday. I think staff has direction to take this version and the careful revisions that were version 3 today to bigger staff to make sure they have a full analysis, as we've relied upon since then, and then make a decision Tuesday and have a public hearing and get feedback. So I think those few days is gonna be okay. I don't think it hurts anything. But Chris, if you want to make a motion, go for it, and we can try to, just make sure you're motioning for the right map. Okay, just whichever one.
Fernando, which is the map that I'm?
I'll just, I'll just
If
say
I-
Go ahead,
this,
Crane.
Mayor, yeah, if this doesn't throw off the plan that you put forward, us still voting a map that we take on March 29th,
Mm-hmm.
I'm okay, and I know it is giving Carlos a little more time and people to look at this. It may not change the results.
Right.
I also don't think if we force a vote today, we've taken a whole lot of time to do this, so it's right for our citizens across the board. And I just want to make sure we're doing that too, and so no one feels pressured that we got to walk away
Agreed.
and send out a map that may go down on a 5, whatever it is. I don't think that's fair to put in front of people either, if we can get to a consensus that's right for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead, Carlos.
We've done some really good work, and I understand we've been here a lot, and I'm seeing maps everywhere I turn now, literally, okay, like shadows of it, burned into my retinas. And that's fine, okay? I don't want anyone to say that we're rushing this project anymore. Our timeline is beginning to close. I get that, all right? But I don't think it hurts us at all just to take a pause. Okay, give these, interest groups that are watching us right now, trying to see what our machinations are, what our thoughts are, a little time with it. And more importantly, give Bickerstaff time to do what they're paid to do. I'd like to see them, wash through it. I think it can only help us.
Okay.
I think
Go ahead.
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
I understand the position that you're in, and I think everyone at this table understands that we don't want, you are in
The
a
only
unique
voice,
position
yeah.
because you were the only Latino on this council, and we
Yeah.
understand the community pressure that you're receiving to make sure that we get this right. And the world is being put on your shoulders to make sure this happens right now, and I understand that. And so if it takes us sending this new map that we spent today on back out to Bickerstaff to have their analysis done of that, I can support that. But what I want to see is when we come back to this on Tuesday, we will have the Bickerstaff reports. Michelle, I don't want you to have to stand up there. I don't want to see a situation where Michelle is standing up there. I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that again. I don't want to see it again. What I want us to be able to do is we have the information, we have the data, we have the legal analysis, and we pick one on Tuesday and we take it out to the public. Because if we start redrawing again, we're going to be in that same situation we are now. And so if there's a commitment that that's what we will do, I'll make the motion right now and we can end this and we can go to public comment.
Elizabeth, I agree with what everybody is saying, and the only thing I want to add to that is we cannot keep waiting till the 9th and the 11th hour. In all fairness to this council, when we came with these maps, hell, none of us knew about what Como wanted to be in District 6 until the 9th hour. That was not fair to me, because I started getting calls about it. It wasn't fair to Michael, and it wasn't fair to a lot of this council. Then we fixed that. Then we come again to the 9th hour, and now it's about the 52% or the 50%. And I get your concern, Carlos, and that's not fair to you as well, but it's not fair to us too, because Carrie has been working, as Michelle would say, for over a year and a half. And I have been working, Jerry, and everybody else has been working. So when we come and we think we have something to present, but then the 9th hour is something different, and even, Chapel Creek and this and that. If we go back and come next Tuesday, is there anything else that we need to be aware of that as we are trying to fix this map? I'm being so serious, because is it 52%.9, 52%.6? Is it Rhinewood? I know you're gonna keep Rhinewood. I mean, what is it, so that we can make sure we come back? Carrie, you gonna work on your map some more before you send to Bigger? Okay. We need to know that.
Yeah. But the point is that on Tuesday, we're going to vote on a map.
We're gonna vote on the map.
I do have some.
Go ahead, Jean.
Just a simple statement to share. What the public is seeing right now is the very reason why they don't think council members need to be involved in crafting maps. But I learned a lot watching this process, because this is my first time going through redistricting. And Carrie, when you asked me early on what I wanted, I told you then, I don't think we should be doing that. But since we did, I like the idea of 52% or higher to get that minority opportunity district for the Hispanic population. I like that. Anybody who wants to go lower, I question that in terms of if that's a real sincere effort. But what I would share with you all is, number one, it was crazy from the very beginning that people would take stop 6 out of District 5. It's been a whole bunch of craziness going on. But at the end of the day, nobody's going to get everything they want. So you got to figure out, how do we take care of the people? How do we take care of the citizens of Fort Worth, Texas? Now, I've never seen people demand to be in a certain district, but I've seen that now. And since we entertain that, that's a discussion that has to be incorporated in whatever we do. But at the bottom line, Tuesday is, what's the term you use, go time? We're done. And so we got to leave here today to make sure we all understand we're done. But to be fair to each other, if anybody wants to add or take another component from the maps that we've agreed on today, at least have the decency to let us all know as a group. And if you can't write us, let Fernando know, and we'll avoid that quorum. Let us know. That's the decent thing to do.
Thank you. And so, Carrie, you still want to work on your map, so
I don't need to if it messes it up. I mean, Michelle was not, just let me say it without, there's a lot of small clicks that can take place for every block.
yeah.
Gina and I have a district boundary that intersects a street. And that's the time that she was able to spend to clean up version 3 that should be afforded to version 2.
And that's fair.
And that's a fair request. Okay.
But just for clarification, Fernando, if you could give us, or maybe this is a legal question, the drop dead date that, that any revisions Councilman Moon wants to make to his map needs to go, so that Bickerstaff can do an analysis on any changes. So if we have that, and then if we could get the information Monday, so whatever that deadline is, I'd like to have it the evening before so that we can digest it. And
I'll pull it all-nighter again and get it done. She can have it by 8 a.m. in the morning. She can make her play with it for 4 hours. She'll have it by noon tomorrow.
In the interest of transparency, when we publish a notice of next Tuesday's map drawing session, we would like to have the 2 maps, version 3 amended and version 2 amended, available for public review, so that the public has at least 72 hours to review the maps in advance of your meeting.
That's good.
And I think it would be fair to give Bickerstaff a day or two to perform their work. So if we could get amended version 2 from Councilmember Moon by noon tomorrow, I think that would facilitate the completion of these tasks.
Okay.
You want me to motion your resolution?
What? We don't need it.
We don't
We're
need
good.
it to amend the rules?
Well, she's gonna, actually, that resolution will be on the agenda on Tuesday. So
Okay.
I think legal's got direction they need.
are we taking 2 out? What are we amending in the resolution? Just,
We're gonna be a little more flexible. We're gonna say at least 1 public hearing, give us ability
Okay.
to have more. We can decide that next week, once how this process goes. We have a scheduled public hearing here at City Hall on Thursday of next week at 6 p.m. It originally was scheduled in the community. We're gonna have it here, so we have call-in option.
Okay.
Because I got good feedback from people, they wanted to do that.
but still 1 map, right?
Right, we didn't have that capability. That's the most important part, yeah. Okay,
The resolution would provide for 1 public hearing and reduce the notice requirement from 10 days to 3 days for a map drawing session.
Leonard, did you have something? No. As painful as this has been, and I know hard on everybody, I don't think anybody is this transparent with redistricting. And there's a reason why people do it behind closed doors, because it's a lot easier to do that. And we did not do that, right? And in defense of having council members involved, you're right, Gina, you do end up with things like Stop 6 not in District 5 when you don't have really careful input in all these other neighborhoods that have history with specific districts or need to stay together. So people may not love the way we did it, but I can't think of a more transparent way to do it. So with that, we're good. We're adjourned. Yes? Okay, we have 30 minutes.